Anambra, see you at Nationals. Okay, so next up we have Team Plateau and Team FCT, and their motion states this house supports the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. And I repeat, this house supports the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. This is a highly relevant and complex issue that touches on questions of free speech, governance, public safety, and the role of technology in the society. As the moderator, my role is to ensure a fair and respectful exchange of ideas. Each side will have the opportunity to present their arguments, challenge opposing points, and defend their positions based on evidence and reasoning. Let us remember that the goal of this debate is not only to persuade, but also to explore the nuances of this important topic. And I encourage all participants to listen carefully, engage thoughtfully, and maintain decorum throughout this discussion. And I repeat once again, the motion is this House supports the regulation of social media to combat the spread of misinformation in Nigeria. My name is Maimuna Isa. So yeah, we'll wait for both teams to get ready and then we'll begin.
Who's proposing and opposing?
Plateau should be proposing.
Are you sure? I'll find out.
Well, fine, let's confirm. Please, Plateau and FCT, who is proposing and who is opposing?
Plateau is proposing.
Plateau proposing.
Plateau is open.
Okay.
Hold on. Plateau, are you proposing or opposing? Plateau.
Opposing.
Okay, opposing. All right, thank you. Okay, FCT is proposing. Why Plateau is opposing?
Yes. Okay.
So Plateau is opposing. FCT is proposing. So start the debate now.
Okay. Thank you for answering questions well. So now we are going to welcome our first speaker from Prof. Your time starts in rules. Yeah, rules. Every speaker has 6 minutes. When it's time for POI, that's in the 3rd and the 4th minute, I'll raise my note to let you know that it's time for POIs. And then when you have 1 minute left, I will signify by doing this. And when I clap, that means your time is up and you have to round up. And if you exceed over points, your marks will be deducted. So first speaker from Prop, your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Memuna, wait. Just give wait. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
Well done. Thank you.
So FCT, before you continue the debate, I want to say something before you continue. I forgot to say it. FCT, your first debate was a walkover against Team Benue. So meaning that you must win this debate to have any chance of qualification. So you must win this debate. If you lose this debate, you have a limited chance of qualification because you have never won any debate before. The one you won was a walkover. So this is a debate is a must win for you to even have any chance of qualification for nationals. Why Team Plateau won their last debate, so they need only one win for them to go through for nationals. So I just want to make it very clear now so that you understand that in your walkover, yes, you have 3 points, but you're not at the top of the best loser points because you've never contested any debate. This is your best chance for you to qualify. If you win this debate, then you can still be counted at 6 points. That means you have a better. That means you will be likely be qualifying at nationals. But if you lose this debate, you will have a very, very tight chance of qualifying for nationals. So I wish you all, I just want to make it very, very clear. So before we continue the debate, thank you. So, well, please let's just give the judges. One of the judges trying to solve something. It's coming in. All right, so can we start the debate now?
Okay. So first speaker from Prop. Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Honorable judges, my fellow friends in argument, and everyone joining us visually, good day. I am Muhammad Dukadia, a proud representative of Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, supporting the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. As the chief speaker, I will define some key terms and lay a foundation for our case. Our second speaker will extend on our argument with concrete facts, statistics, and examples. Our third speaker will defend our points using strong rebuttals, and our fourth speaker will summarize and give us a strong conclusion. Let me begin with a brief clarification of some key terms in the motion: social media, regulation, and misinformation. Social media, these are online platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. that allows us to share and content. By regulation, we mean laws, monitoring system, and accountability. Measures guiding social media platforms on how to operate. By misinformation, we mean false or misleading information, spread intentionally or unintentionally, burning trust, truth, and peace. The Center for Democracy, CDD, reports that 2023, over 43% of fake news were spread through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. During the 2023 election, over 150 fake news were spread online. According to the Nigerian First Speakers Coalition, some claim INEC staff played with ballot boxes, while others faked candidate withdrawals, causing panic, pains, and violence. During the NSAR protest of 2023, misinformation turned pains into panic. Doctored videos, false date claims spreading thousands of times, dividing our nation further. Tell me, if a single post can destroy things, should we let it go unchecked? That's why we're supporting regulation to combat misinformation in Nigeria. I'm supporting it because one is protect national security. A single post, a single rumor can bring about ethnic violence. In Kaduna 2018, a Facebook post about headmen killing brought about dozens of deaths before the police were able to confirm its cause. It defends democracy. Lies in election bring about loss of trust in democracy. Democracy dies when truth are drawn by digital deceit. Thirdly, it safeguards national unity. Lies cause hate, but regulation will trap and log every false information before it gets spread. It brings about digital responsibility. When laws are in place, digital platforms will verify information, and this way they'll be able to remove the fake ones out of it, and that way users will be more accountable. In a country that is diverse as us, what glues the people together is truth, and what protecting that truth is regulation. Freedom without responsibility is anarchy. We regulate our traffic to ensure no accidents. We regulate our food to ensure no harm. Then why not regulate our social media to ensure no lies? The opposing team may argue that regulation will limit freedom of expression. But he asks, what kind of freedom of expression allows lies to destroy lives? A true freedom is that one that thrives when truths are protected. European Union, United Kingdom all have laws guiding their social media platform, and the democracies are still alive. Honorable judges, social media should inform, not inflame. Regulation is not oppression, it is protection. Because when lights travel faster than air, the only thing that can slow it down is regulation. Let us remember that freedom without responsibility is anarchy, but freedom with responsibility is democracy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, first speaker from Prop, for your amazing points. She made use of 4 minutes, 36 seconds. Now, can we welcome our first speaker from Proposition? Your times from Opposition, your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Today I rise, not just to oppose a motion, but I rise to defend the right of Nigerians. I rise to defend the right which has been fought for generations. I rise to defend the right which spectators fear. I record the regulation of social media usage in Nigeria. This undoubtedly is against the principles of democracy as propounded by Abraham Lincoln. Democracy is a system of government that ensures people inclusivity in the governance of their country. And by regulating the usage of social media is directly connected to infringing upon the right and violating the right of expression in Nigeria. The Speaker, members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, standing before Sindam Jacob, the late Speaker of Team Plateau, here to oppose the motion. This House should support the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. Indeed, this House should support the regulation. Indeed, this House should not support the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. But before I hit the nail on its head, permit me first of all to highlight and establish the key terms involved in the motion at hand. Social media is an online platform that allows people to come together. They share their views, opinions, and perspectives in the government of their country, thereby strengthening national unity, cohesion, and boosting digital economy. Going further, regulation is the process of cutting off something or making something to be restricted. This is what exactly the government will use as a protective cover against their monopoly. This is exactly what the government will use as a protective cover against arbitrary abuse of power. Misinformation is a process where information is not dispensated as it is. As team opposition will be navigating through 6 arguments, of which I, as the lead speaker, will be extensively deliberating on the first 3. My first supporter will exclusively deliberate on the next 3, while my debunker will round up our points and at the same time do a job of debunking, rebutting, counteracting, and condemning baseless concepts, of which I'm very sure my opponents must raise in the course of this argument. The proposition's lead speaker's argument revolves around democracy. Democracy, as we all know, is a system of government that allows for the equal participation of everybody in the country. If this House will support the regulation of social media to combat misinformation, then I see it as a violation to the Section 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which guarantees the right to freedom of speech, expression, and receival of information without interference. Her argument revolves around democracy, but democracy, as we all know, is a system that allows for everybody to contribute. And by the arbitrary regulation of social media, that means they are regulating or making people to be silenced completely. Going further, education and not censorship is the solution to Nigeria's misinformation. The lasting solution to Nigeria's misinformation is digital literacy and not arbitrary control. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, in the year 2022, through its think tank, the Global Education Research Paper, found out that countries who use this aggressive method to combating misinformation end up doubling it by 100%. A clear example is the case of Nepal. The Nepalian Prime Minister, Sharma Oli, has to resign from office because he banned the usage of social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X. This led to massive protests that claimed more than 19 lives and 400 Nepali citizens were injured. If Nigeria wants to avoid such type of a scenario, then definitely we must not consider regulating the usage of social media as an option, but rather we should consider teaching critical thinking skills, promoting fact-related platforms like Dubawa and Africa Check, and also encouraging responsible online behavior. I think these are smarter solutions. I believe these are smarter solutions to combating misinformation in Nigeria. Going further, Professor Wole Soyinka warns that this arbitrary control will definitely turn Nigeria into a digital dictatorship under the illusion of what they call regulation. If the same people who are accused of spreading propaganda are to be the ones that will regulate the instance of social media, who then regulates them? Perhaps, definitely, and undoubtedly, Nigeria shouldn't even consider the regulation of social media as an option to combating misinformation. Another effect that this will have is that it will break Nigeria's digital economy. It therefore asks us this question: is Nigeria ready to risk its most dynamic economic sector just in the name of prevention? Definitely. Regulating the use of social media is far from being the cause. It's far from an option. It's far from being considered as an option to combating misinformation. Again, Amnesty International in 2023 reported that more than 60% of African countries who uses the regulation of social media to combat misinformation, end up using it to target critics and journalists. This is not the misinformation they claim they are going to fight. Panel: misinformation is indeed a disease, but regulation is far from being the cause. Rather, it's far from being a solution. Rather, it is a poison in the guise of medicine. We cannot protect the truth by restriction, but by responsibility. Censorship will not build trust in the system, but it will breed fear, silence, and suspicion. Nigerian democracy cannot triumph when the truth is gagged. Nigeria can never progress. I repeat, it can never progress. If the government or a group of people should decide what the truth should be, definitely, considering all points discussed, seem up and maintain their stand that the country should not even consider social media usage to combating as a way of combating misinformation. Therefore, the motion must fall. Proud to oppose.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
First speaker for that well-composed argument. He used 6 minutes, 3 seconds. Now, can we welcome our next speaker from proposition? The time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good day, Chairman, honorable judges, fellow debaters, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and my audience. In 2018, a single WhatsApp message in Plateau State sparked violence, leading to the loss of over 80 lives. A message, not a bomb blast, not a bullet, not terrorist attack, but a lie. That, my dear audience, is the frightening power of misinformation in our country. And when the proposition side, I stand firmly behind this movement because when lies travel faster than the truth, democracy becomes a casualty. And when rumors replace reason, the nation crumbles. My first speaker here defined regulation not as censorship, but as the establishment of fair rules and regulations that help to prevent the abuse of freedom that has been given to citizens. Just as traffic regulations exist, not to prevent us from driving, but to protect the users themselves. Social media regulation will help to create and ensure a safer digital space, but not just for us, the present, but for the future as well. Today, I will continue our stand because a nation, now we need to understand firstly that when lies trend, lives go lost. During the COVID-19 pandemic, misinformation spread faster than the virus itself. The World Health Organization labeled this an epidemic, a flood of false information that made people doubt vaccination, ignore safety precautions, and make decisions that not just endanger themselves, but endanger the lives of people around them. In Nigeria, fake information spread by saying that COVID-19 could be cured by drinking hot water, or the vaccinations that were made to cure billions of people were actually made from microchips, as well as saying that herbal medication can replace medical treatment. According to a survey handled by Statista in 2021, over 70% of Nigerians encountered at least one fake news about COVID-19 on social media. If we regulate our pharmacies and our hospitals in order to ensure public health, why then should our online spaces remain lawless? Regulation will help to checkmate lawlessness in our online spaces. They will be able to verify sources and content and only promote information from verified and trustworthy institutions such as the World Health Organization. That is not oppression, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is protection. One more, Nigerians need to rise together and understand that we must prevent digital decay of conscience in our. Now, social media has become a learning space for millions of Nigerians all over the world. But we need to understand what these children are actually learning. Most influencers today rise to stardom by glorifying indecency, immorality, and so much more. Let us not forget that these children are the future of our nation. If we continue to expose them to challenges such as that promote self-abuse, self-harm, and drug abuse, what then do we have as our country? Furthermore, let us not forget that without regulation, we bring rise to anarchy. Nigeria's social media space has become a battlefield of misinformation. During the 2023 election, fake news and manipulated videos circulated widely. The Independent National Electoral Commission reported that this caused confusion in several states. Apart from political news, social media hoaxes have actually triggered and stirred actual violence in Nigeria. In 2018, fake Facebook messages spread false rumors about ethnic clashes, leading to the loss of over 80 lives. These are Nigerians like you and I. We don't know where tomorrow will be. But I know that if it was my family member involved in such an accident, I would not stand and let regulation go on and let Nigerians continue and let Nigerian social media platforms continue to go unregulated. Regulation brings accountability. It will checkmate disorderliness. Regulation will help to make sure that all false information are checked, red flags are removed as soon as possible. It will help to ensure that information that is given to Nigerians is true, honest, and just. Now, my friend's argument may say that regulation is censorship and it silences freedom of speech. But let us know that in a society where there is no freedom in any society where truth is overshadowed by lies. Even the Nigerian Constitution in section 45 allows for the constraint of certain rights in the interest of public health, morality, and social order. So we are here to advocate for regulation, not to oppress or suppress the citizens, but to protect them. Honorable judges, in conclusion, misinformation is not an online issue, it is a national threat. It kills people, it sows seeds of miscommunication, and most of all, it builds on what should be our national strength, but it's turning into our national weakness, diversity. We regulate our food to prevent poisoning. We regulate drugs to prevent overdose, and we regulate pharmacies in order to better public health. Why then should our social media spaces, which are more influential than all three of these sectors combined? Thank you
very much for your argument. You spent 6 minutes, 5 seconds. Now, can we welcome our next speaker from opposition? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Picture a Nigeria where every tweet is monitored, every post questioned, and every online voice silenced in fear. This is the danger of the motion. Yes, misinformation is real, but giving the government the power to regulate the social media only opens us to censorship, political suppression, and it weakens democracy. We are not here to protect lies. We are here to protect democracy and accountability. Mr. Speaker, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Azigbia Precious, the second speaker from Team Plateau, here to oppose the motion. This House supports the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria with the following points. Firstly, Social media is Nigeria's strongest tool for emergency alert. Nigeria as a country with a weak communication infrastructure, social media is the most reliable and the most dependable source of information. Using the Abule Ado Lagos Oyo explosion and the Kaduna kidnappings in 2021, the social media enabled people to disperse information on how to get them out of this danger. They're able to use social media to contact rescue firms. And also, in 2021, the National Emergency Management Agency said that 60% of emergency alerts were gotten from the social media before it was being told to them on the official channel, which means that the social media breeds information quickly. And also, the flood that was seen in Kogi, Rivers, Bayelsa in 2020 showed that social media helps people to inform rescue firms to come and save them out of danger. Should one law meant to stop lies end up killing truth itself? The answer is no. My second point here is regulation hurts Nigeria economically and socially. Using the Twitter ban in the year 2021, Nigeria suffered over 104 million loss just because they banned the Twitter. And also, over 39 million Nigerians use the social media for their businesses, jobs, marketing, and digital influence. Restricting it or regulating it stifles innovation and youth empowerment. Regulating the social media kills digital education and also reduces youth. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, said, and I quote, "Regulation is the enemy of innovation." Milton Friedman, Nobel also entry stifles competition and suppresses economic growth. My last and final point here today is regulation may discourage foreign investment in tech and digital industries. Also, I use the Twitter ban again. When Nigeria suffered over 104 million loss daily, this could destabilize our economy and also foreign investment. Also, the powerhouse Copam in 2018 claimed that foreign investors scare away from countries with regulated markets on their social media, which means foreign investors would not want to breed with your country. They would want to come and work with your country just because you have a strict regulation on social media. And also, with Nigeria aiming to be Africa's digital hub, restricting our social media intent might not make this possible. It will not make our country be able to meet that level that we want to be. It scare away digital giants such as the Amazon, the X, WhatsApp, and other digital infrastructure. How can we build democracy? By choking the very platform that gives people a voice. If we choke the platform that gives our people a voice to speak, how then can we build the democracy? How then in turn do we want our economy to grow? That is not possible. And also, by banning the social media, we tend to regulate freedom of speech and other infringements, which is not useful for our country, Nigeria. In conclusion, we are not just debating a motion. We are debating the fate of Nigerian voice. We are debating whether truth to continue to rise on the streets of Ekiti, Oyo, Ibadan, FCT, and the Port Harcourt, and to every corner of the nation. We are debating whether those in power will filter, control, or approve these rules just because they are in power. Nigeria does not need censorship. It needs digital education. It does not need fear. It needs enlightenment. It does not need gatekeeping. Rather, it needs education. Yes, we say no, not because we fear for change, but because we believe in a freer, more voice, and a more courageous Nigeria. We say no because we believe that our country can be more voice if we do not regulate our social media. So today we say no for the sake of truth, for the sake of freedom, and for the sake of every Nigerian voice which have not been heard. So we stand unwavering and unapologetic in opposition to the motion.
Thank you very much, speaker from UP. Now you used 5 minutes, 10 seconds. Now can we have our next speaker from proposition? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Truth has no price, but life costs billions. We regulate electricity. Does that mean power companies don't abuse their customers? We regulate banking. Does that mean fraud disappears? No. It means order, oversight, and accountability. Using this as a reference point permits me to give honor to whom honor is due. The Honorable Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, the prize in agreement to my moderator. Standing before you today is orator Osman Chidima, a proud representative of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Today, I don't come to whisper opinions. I come to thunder truth into your noisy world. They say the truth moves slowly, but now it's about to run. Because every click without truth is the seed of chaos. Every unverified post is a spark of destruction. Let's choose order over chaos and truth over trend. Because if a lie can go viral, so can justice. And that justice is called regulation. That is why this house believes that the regulation of social media will combat misinformation. Regulation is not a cage for voices. It's a shield for truth. It's not a law of silence. It's a law of sanity. Just as Winston Churchill has said, before a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth can even hear its truth. It's time to hear the truth. Those are other successful countries had. Let's take Germany. Germany Network Enforcement Act 2017 as an example. Any platform that refuses to take down harmful content within 24 hours since they have a heavy fine. As a result, fake news dropped by over 48% in the first year. Nigeria, if the government takes digital truth as national asset. A fake news, a fake post once claimed that Dangote cement has reduced prices. Traders went into reducing their prices, losing millions. Another rumor claimed that a bank was collapsing. Customers went to withdraw, leading to a real collapse. This is not freedom, this is financial warfare. And still, my friends in argument want us to sit back and say freedom of speech. No, freedom is not freedom when you destroy the life. Business is administration at large. Just as Justice Neil has said, and I quote, the only freedom that deserves a name is one who seeks to promote and not support. So my friends in argument say regulation kills free speech. I say unregulated freedom kills the nation. As Nelson Mandela has said, freedom without responsibility is the wildest slavery. Regulation is not the death of speech, it's the threat of truth. And I'm here to prove that not with words anymore, not with words, but with numbers. The CDA in 2022 found that over 43% of Nigerians were exposed to fake political news. This is during the election. This is nearly 90 million citizens misled in 1,000 citizens. The statistics that 2024 found that Nigeria has 33.6 million active social media users. And an average user shares the post at least. If just 5% of this was false or is false, that is 18 million lives flying across our timeline. Digital bullets hitting the truth from different angles. Now let's talk examples. In 2023, and the WhatsApp message about ethnic clashes in Georgia led to loss of life. Now, words can kill faster than weapons. And still, my friends in argument say regulation leads to censorship. Censorship silences opinion. Regulation silences life. The goal is not to shut mouth. The goal is to shut down misinformation. My friends in argument still might say Nigerians can fact check, but in a nation where over 35% of adults lack digital literacy, that self-fact checking is a luxury, not a reality. Misinformation is not just a means, it's a monster, and must be stopped before we can no longer hear the sound of truth. Therefore, I declare with firm conviction that our lawmakers must arise, regulations must stand, and lies must be silenced, because regulation is not just a way to save Nigeria's soul, it is a way to save Nigeria's soul. I remain also on the table to the man with this.
Thank you so much. She used a total of 5 minutes, 3 seconds. Now can we have our next speaker from opposition? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Audrey Azule.
the Director General of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, once said, and I quote, "Media literacy is the best vaccine for misinformation." Honorable Speaker, distinguished judges, esteemed audience, and members of this House, good day to you all. My name is Okoro Bethel, the third Speaker of Team Plateau, here to object and oppose the motion. This House should support the regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. I rise as the rebuttal speaker for Team Opposition to firmly reject the motion which calls for the regulation of social media in Nigeria. Our stance remains clear and unwavering. Regulation is not the solution to misinformation. Education, freedom, and accountability are. When the government begins to decide what we can see, hear, read, and share, freedom takes its last breath. The proposition tells us that regulation is the cure to misinformation. But history warns us that regulation, when in the wrong hands, becomes a weapon, not a remedy. The proposition may argue and say that education is not enough, regulation is necessary. We strongly disagree with this. The root of misinformation is ignorance and digital illiteracy, while regulation treats the symptom and not the disease. A 2023 UNESCO report shows that countries that invest in digital literacy programs record over 60% reduction in misinformation without regulation. Therefore, the cure is education and not restriction. My second speaker in our argument made mention of the fact that regulation hurts Nigeria economically and socially. Regulating social media damages Nigeria's economy and weakens the society. Socially, regulation often becomes censorship. Even Amnesty International in the year 2022 cautioned that Nigeria's proposed ban of social media would only erode freedom of the speech of citizens. So we saw this during the EndSARS protest in 2020, when the attempt to silence online voices only deepened distrust in government. So I ask, how can a nation rise when its youths, creators, and truth tellers are silenced? I know my opponents may argue me and say that education alone cannot control misinformation. We agree that education is not easy, but it is effective and democratic. Regulation, on the other hand, is quick, but it is dangerous. A study carried out by UNESCO in the year 2023 showed that Finland, the world's most media literate nation, reduced misinformation by over 60% through digital literacy and education programs, not censorship. As Dr. Uche Igwe, a Nigerian political analyst, noted in 2024, the solution to misinformation is by empowering the mind with critical thinking, not disempowering it with regulation and laws. Let us fix the minds and not muzzle the mouths. We, Team Opposition, do not deny that misinformation is a problem, but we do not agree that regulation is the solution to misinformation. Rather, the solution is through smarter governance, stronger government policies, and public awareness and education. Solutions: public platform policies should reduce and curb online misinformation. Digital literacy through education helps Nigeria in avoiding misinformation and not restrictions and online regulation, which silences the voices of its citizens. Your third speaker in her argument said that freedom is not freedom if it endangers the lives of citizens. That is true. If we regulate social media, governments have an edge over the citizens and can say what truth will sound like. Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, noted and said that the regulation of online speech gives governments dangerous access over truth. Digital literacy through education helps the citizens to obey, to stay informed and not obey, while regulation makes the citizens afraid, not informed. Regulation will not stop lies. It will silence truth and silence the voices of the people. It will not protect Nigerians. Rather, it will protect politicians. We, Team Opposition, choose freedom, education, and innovation over fear and control. Honorable judges, the truth does not need permission to exist. Regulating social media is like burning down a whole library because you found one book in it. So I leave you with one final question. Will Nigeria remain a nation of echoes, or would it rather change to be a nation of voices? We, Team Opposition, stand for freedom, education, and innovation over fear, control, regulation, and silence. I urge this House to stand with team opposition, proud to oppose the motion, and so let the motion fall. Thank you.
Thank you very much. She used 5 minutes, 15 seconds. So this leads us to our reply speech round. And in this round, you have 2 minutes to speak. You are not to add more points, but to summarize what everyone on your side has said. And we are so your time starts in 3, 2, 1.
Up to the podium is Ndam Jacob, the reply speaker of Team Plateau, here to give a brief and concise version of what my teammates and I have earlier presented. As the lead speaker, I raise points like social media is Nigeria's worst enemy economically and socially. My first supporter raised points that social media will endanger the freedom of speech and expression. I also raise points like social media, the regulation of social media will definitely affect Nigeria's national economy entirely. While Team Opposition should win this debate. We've been able to raise points like social media, the regulation of social media damaging the nation's economy. But in proposition, shy away from it. We've been able to respond like regulating the social media will hurt Nigeria economy and economically and socially. But in proposition, also shy away from it. They respond like that the regulation of social media is the best option for Nigeria because it will bring about proper democracy. But team opposition have effectively debunked that point by telling the House that democracy has to do with the freedom of speech of people, not the silencing of people online, not the usage of the word regulation to make people fear and be silent. Team proposition also raised a point that regulation does not mean wickedness to people. But team opposition, that's Team Plateau, has been able to debunk that point by telling this House that regulation as used in the Nigerian context is not what we think. Regulation as used in the Nigerian context compounds arbitrary use of power. Regulation as used in the Nigerian context definitely has to do with governmental monopoly. With all points considered, I urge this House to accept Team Opposition stand on this motion. We are not against misinformation. We are not saying misinformation is good, but we are against the regulation of the only means, the voice of the voiceless, the poor and the marginalized citizens of Nigeria. Therefore, I urge all of us seated to sign up with Team Opposition. Let the motion fall. Let's oppose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. He used a total of 1 minute, 58 seconds. Now we have our final speaker from proposition for their reply speech. Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I am here to raise the flag and declare that regulation on social media combats misinformation in Nigeria. But I want to ask an issue, Mr. Chairman, and our case and it's not the case of the opposition. Permit me to briefly highlight the major points made by my fellow citizens. Our first speaker clearly find major points on social media regulation and misinformation. She also laid foundation, showing how force to fracture our unity. Our second speaker built the walls, proving how misinformation affects our morals and minds. Our third speaker played the role, expressing how fake news costs in Nigeria over 500 billion naira, getting economic panic and economic vision. You say freedom, I say discipline. You say expression, I say responsibility. You say censorship, I say distribution. So with conviction in my hand and with fairness in my hand, I stand tall, firm and fearless to say that this House supports regulation of social media to combat misinformation in Nigeria. Because truth deserves clarity, Nigeria deserves peace, and peace deserves order. Until we rise to regulate, life will continue. But today, truth goes viral. Thanks.
Thank you very much. She used a total of 1 minute, 31 seconds. With that in mind, at this point, I will now hand over to our panel of judges to deliberate and determine which side has presented a more persuasive and well-substantiated argument. You all did very well. Thank you so much for your attention and participation. So now we'll give our judges time to accumulate all the results and tell us who won this round. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. All the two teams. It was highly a competitive debate. So but at the end of the day, I'm not a judge. I'm just there to observe. So we'll allow the judges to do the observations and they announce the winner. So if you are ready for it for your own verdict, please you can take the floor. Please, the judges, Adebayo and the Silas and Emmanuel Ebuka. Emmanuel Ebuka, you have not been online. You have been having network issue. I don't know if you were able to watch the debate. But please, we have our last debate now in the next so within the next 40 minutes we should be done. Please, if you have to help us, please. Let's just I know it's important, but please let's just finish the last debate. The next that's within team Benway versus team um
Nasarawa.
Nasarawa, please, to happen immediately so that we can just all go and rest. So if you are ready, you can just give your verdict, please. Anybody ready?
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Godman, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I'm trying to look through my notes. Am I audible, please?
Yes.
Yeah. So good afternoon, speakers. Good afternoon, judges. Good afternoon, everybody. The motion was a really good motion. So really interesting, and the debate and the speech, everything was okay. So I'm going to start by commending like all the teams, FCT, Plateau. You guys showed that you did proper research by bringing out facts, like on both sides. You guys brought out facts, you guys brought out details and everything. So for the adjudication, yes, like I always do. I'm going to start like, what do you expect from both sides? And then you would, as I'm speaking, you judge yourself if you actually like fulfilled your roles. Yeah. From FCT, we expected you to have like clearly defined like what does a regulation look like? What does a regulation look like? You guys did not do that properly. Like you explained, oh, social media is this regulation, but you know it's like, oh, which is the format in which regulation, like in debating, we call it mechanization of debates. Like, how is the regulation going to look like? Is it going to look like information, if you post the misinformation, to be deleted immediately, or you'll be arrested, or like what exactly does the regulation look like? We did not get that from you. Also, or we did not get that like properly from you. Let me just say like that. Also, I guess supposed to explain that misinformation is really, really serious harm that necessitates regulation. That was okay. We got that from yes. And you guys you guys were also expected to explain why regulation and nothing else is necessary, or why regulation is necessary above any other thing. Yes. From side of Plateau, what do we expect? What did I expect from you? I expected you guys to have defended right and democracy, which was good. I also expected you to show that regulation is caused, like, regardless of all the goods that regulation would do, like the arms are more more dangerous, yes. And also like alternative to misinformation, which you guys did, which was really good. So for the FCT, yes, I'm going to try and be fast, but I'm going to like really summarize what happened in the debate. The first speaker did well, or did middly well, by she defined the 10, but she not properly set the frame for what regulation looks like. Yes. So if you guys left regulation too open-ended, and that's what caused a issue for me as a listener in the debate, because Team Play 2 came around, I was saying something like ban, ban, ban. If you guys wanted to run with ban, she clearly stated that, a regulation feels like it's going to be a ban. That's your role as government side, or that's your role as proposition side. We did not get that properly from you, which caused a problem in the debate, and that's what your opposition was just against, because this debate is not about ban. But since you did not say anything about that, they just ran with the argument of ban, and that was your responsibility as first speaker, yes. But you gave good point, first speaker, yes. Your second speaker still on Team FCT, yes. Good content, especially these COVID-19 examples, and like the argument that misinformation threatens life and dignity is very, very good, yeah. But I don't normally do this, but your coherence, you're not a robot, I understand, but coherence was not giving as much as it would have. Next time, it's okay to take pauses, but you're taking like excessive pauses. Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So third speaker was good. Third speaker like did really well. So I'm going to go to Team Play 2 now. Team Play 2 was good, like give a really principled case, said regulation will violate freedom, and like we're going to give, if we take ensure regulation, they're going to give government monopoly over speech and all of that, which was good, yes. They also proposed education and censorship, yes, which was a good alternative, yes. But like the whole issue was they were running this whole debate like a ban, like from my own perspective, like a ban. And I'm not going to like entirely blame them, because the first speaker did not like extensively explain what the regulation is going to feel like. But the second speaker of Plateau also came like regulation limits emergency information flow and all of that, which was good, but still everything was still running on a ban. Yes. So what the clash in this debate? The clash is right and national security. Yes. Plateau said they are protecting the right of individuals to dignity, to right and all of that. FCT said they are protecting the lives of individuals and stability. On this clash, FCT Plateau is going to take this. So on regulation versus censorship, yes, FCT came towards the end, or towards the second speaker and towards the third speaker. When we started getting that, it was regulation, not like excessive censorship or not like a ban. But Plateau kept insisting that it was a ban, or like they kept running the argument like, when you ban this, when you ban this, when you ban this. But good for FCT, they came to like say that it's not a ban. It's not in form of a ban. So in form of regulation or censorship, FCT wins it. So I'm sorry. I'm taking too much time, but like for delivery and presentation, yes, this is my note on delivery. Plateau gave like really good enunciation and they showed confidence and they commanded the room. At the point, it seemed like they were screaming at us, but like they were able to maintain our attention, which is very important in a debate. Well, sometimes you don't even know, you're not what you're saying is like really making sense, but as long as you're able to get the attention of your audience, it counts for you. Why FCT, you guys had good content, but your delivery could have been way better because I don't know what was going on. Your delivery was just not giving, yes. And also, this room could have been way better. We're not getting POIs, or you guys are not giving each other POIs, or you're not even engaging. I don't know, like POIs were just absent in the room. So at the end of this debate, it was a really, really tight debate. It was really, really tight. To me, it was like almost a 50-50. I would have given FCT this debate, but they just missed the entire point of not framing what the regulation looks like, and allowing opposition side, this is Plateau side, to run this whole debate as a ban, which is okay for them because you as Plateau did not say, regulation is not a ban. You should have done that in the beginning. So for me, Plateau wins this debate. Thank you.
George, Adebayo gave it to Plateau.
Yeah.
Okay, we still have Silas. Let's hear from you, Silas, before we listen to the last George. Silas, over to you.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you so much. So first of all, I think this round was very, very much engaging for me, but I'll try to be a little bit brief because I think we need to talk about a lot of things that happened in the round before we decide on who wins the debate. So first thing here is that FCT, you guys didn't start this debate properly. There are things that you need to do as preliminary things before you start up the debate, which is like characterizing what you mean by regulations. How does this regulation look like? Is it like we are going to be punishing this individual, or we are using the algorithm to dictate like how these crimes, how these informations are being spread out on all of that? And I think that was a very big issue from FCT, but I don't think that actually legitimized their arguments entirely in the debate. In as much as they were not able to characterize what regulation looks like, I felt that they, at the end of their I think second speakers and their third speaker were able to still show the regulation is not about banning, because all started talking about the ban of this social media. So I think second speaker and their third speaker were able to still come up and then try to respond that regulation is not about banning this social media, but about trying to regulate and then know how things are being done there. I think majorly and largely in today's debate, I think the major clash we had here is first of all the issue of freedom of speech, versus freedom of speech. So OP tells us that the issue of freedom of speech, that everybody in the principle of democracy has the right to participate in democracy. That is why a lot of individuals make their comments on social media and then share information and all that. I think they saw it on the light of banning this social media and all of that. But I think I saw a credible response from Prop side. What did Prop tell us? Prop tell us that in as much as a lot of rights exist, they are not absolute. How? Because Section 40, they mentioned about Section 45, whereby the rights are being derogated when we have issue of public security, public order, and then morality. So at the end of the day, these rights that opposition is talking about protecting and then giving it absolute is not really absolute in its nature in a democratic state. Then they talk about like what is the harms of like making these rights absolute. The harm is one that they are going to lead to issue of anarchy. Like I think I saw something like that. Yeah, they're talking about like how these things are going to lead to anarchy if we don't like regulate it and leave it absolute, like what Prop is talking about. And I felt that the issue of whether we should like leave freedom of speech absolute or not, I think Prop won on that aspect because they were able to show us that this right is not even absolute in itself. That means they can easily be derogated whenever we have issues of public unity and public security, public order, and then morality. I think that actually stands for them in the debate. Then secondly, another place we had issue or a clash is the issue of necessity. Prop tells us that there are issues of like spread of misinformation. They talked about the COVID-19 pandemic, the spread of like drinking of salt and all of that. And they felt that it's very necessary for us to actually regulate this social media because at the end of the day, these things are going to continue to exaggerate and then public order, security will be deteriorated. Now, opposition in their own end now brought up like an alternative that they don't support the regulations, but even if they like try to solve that, we should like address the issue of education. I don't feel that was a nice response. How? Because if you say that education is like is the alternative you bring to the house, education in itself, I don't want to like try to put myself into the debate, but I felt that opposition side, they were not able to capitalize on their alternative in today's debate. They were able to they were not able to show us how education in this real sense will be able to solve the issue of spreading of misinformations and all of that. I was expecting them to tell us like how this education will be able to like to stop the issues of spreading of information, because on my own end, I feel like education, if individuals are more educated, they will kind of see like advanced misinformations or like fake news and all of that. But they were not able to capitalize on that, their alternative. And that is why I was not able to grade them for that. So I feel like op side and proposition side were able to show us the necessity of like solving the issue of misinformation through regulations. And as much as they were not able to show us like how it looks like from the beginning of their speech. But I think that still counts for them. And then thirdly and lastly is the issue of like, in what word are we be able to stop the issue of the harms that this social media cause? Prop tells us like the only way we can stop this issue of the harms like the social media cause, like they also talked about like how persons spread like other informations apart from misinformation, information that are morally like unjustified or something. So I think offside talks about like how social media is very important for spreading information largely for individual and all of that. But proposition side showed us the number of persons that are in social media, and then like what will happen if one fake news comes to social media, how these things are going to spread widely to like a lot of individuals, and then the harms of these things, the harms that this thing will largely cause when we don't necessarily solve this issue now about regulating it. So I feel like that particular harms actually outweighs the harms of like opposition about like how businesses are going to fold up, economic like deterioration and all that, which necessarily I don't think that they were discussing the motion entirely, because they were talking about the ban of social media instead of like the regulation of the social media. And as much as proposition we are not able to frame that, they should be able to know that regulation is different from banning this social media and all that. So at the end of the day, I feel like from the three clashes I was able to list out the issue of freedom of speech, necessity, and then in what word are we better able to manage the arms, FCT won from my own end.
Okay. So Mr. Silas gave it to FCT, while the other judge gave it to Mr. Plateau. So we'll hear from the last judge. Emmanuel Ebuka, I don't know, were you able to listen to the debate? Ebuka Emmanuel, were you? So I know you have been having a network problem.
So I've been like, I wasn't able to listen to everything. So
Okay,
it's
that's
just
fine.
parts and parts of.
That means
So
there's no need for
I
you.
don't.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, then let's hear from the final judge, Mr. Obu Benson, to give us the final judgment. So based on his own standing, we'll now see the result. So whatever he says now, that means we'll not determine the result. But we still have tie vote. So if he gave it to Abuja FCT, then Abuja won the debate. If he's giving it to Plateau, that means Plateau is winning the debate. So let's hear from the final verdict. This will now be the judgment day.
The analysis.
Go ahead. That's fresh.
Good afternoon, my co-educators online. Good afternoon, Team Plateau and Team FCT. You all have put up a very good, eloquent, and extensive debate. You've done your best, and I appraise you for that. I will not go into dwell on the analysis again because it will be tantamount to repetition. It has been done by my co-educators, which was a very fine one. That's what I have here. FCT, we started slowly. We just conclude and started, gearing up towards the end. Whereas the Plateau captivated us by very vocal and audible debate. But in all, it was a very, very keenly contested debate, and there must be a winner. So in summary, I gave it to Team Plateau. Plateau narrowly won this match.
But what I'll call
Okay. Okay, so Team Plateau, so the judge gave it to Team Plateau. That means we'll have a split decision. That means 2-1. That means Team Plateau narrowly scaled through. So what it means that Team Plateau had 2 wins already. That means they have qualified for nationals. So of course, Team Plateau is our champion last year. They were the defending champion last year, and they want to retain the championship again. But they will prepare you put the national. So better cheer up. They are the winner of last year's debate. So, but the FCT, you had a very good fight. I'm impressed with your debate. I'm impressed with your debaters, and let's see. Let's look at by the time we look at the best user calculations, the judges will not determine who will not be of course, we're going to have 2 best losers that will join the 6th state that qualify. So the next debate now will determine who qualifies. So let's just keep on. But Plateau have qualified automatically. So congratulations, you have joined Team Anambra, Team Plateau, Yobe, Oshun, and Kaduna International. So we still have 3 more left. So thank you very much. So we are starting the next debate immediately. Next debate is